Hello students, and welcome back to the Master Your Project Management micro course. Today, we will explore the Learning Unit 2, Risk Management and Problem Solving. This unit will guide you through critical aspects of managing uncertainties and challenges in your project. Effective risk management and problem solving are essential skills for any project manager, ensuring that projects can adapt to unexpected changes and stay on course. In the context of project management, understanding risk is crucial for ensuring the project's success. But what exactly do we mean when we talk about risk? Risk refers to any uncertain event or condition that could potentially impact the project's objectives. These objectives may relate to the project scope, schedule, cost, or quality. It's important to recognize that risk can be both negative, posing potential threats to the project, or positive, presenting opportunities that could enhance the project outcome. Let's break down the main components of risk. Uncertainty. Risk is inherently tied to uncertainty. It's about events or conditions that may or may not happen and how they could affect the project. Potential impact. This refers to the possible effects of the project if the risk materializes. The impact could be minor or significant, influencing how the project progresses or its final result. Likelihood. This is the probability of the risk occurring. Some risks are highly likely, while others are rare but could have major consequences if they do happen. Response strategies. Effective risk management involves planning strategies to respond to risk proactively. This might include mitigation strategy to reduce negative impact or strategies to capitalize on positive opportunities. Continuous monitoring. Risk management isn't a one-time task. It requires ongoing observation and adaptation throughout the project lifecycle to catch new risks early and adjust plans as necessary. Recognizing the various types of risk that can impact a project is essential for effective risk management. This awareness helps project managers anticipate potential issues, prepare solutions in advance, and adapt their strategies if problems occur. Let's take a look at common types of risk. Financial risk refers to the potential financial setbacks that might occur due to mismanagement of funds or unforeseen economic changes. For example, inaccurately estimating a budget, whether overestimating or underestimating, can create financial strain, potentially disrupting project timeline and deliverables. Operational risk. This risk stems from internal processes and resources within the project. Inefficiencies or ineffective workflows can lead to delays impeding the project progress. For instance, if a specific workflow does not perform as expected, adjustments may be needed to prevent project stagnation. Another common operational risk is resource insufficiency. Limited availability of personnel, equipment, or materials can delay execution and compromise the project schedule. Project-specific risk. These risks are unique to the particular team or context of the project. Depending on the nature of the project, specific challenges may arise. Examples include difficulties in engaging the intended target audience, technical failures like an online platform crashing, or software compatibility issues that disrupt workflow. Each risk carries a potential threat that can affect the project in different ways, and understanding these impacts allows for the development of proactive and effective mitigation strategies. Let's break down the impact levels. Impact can be low, and these risks have minimal effect on the project if they materialize. They might lead to slight delays or minor increases in cost, but they do not pose a significant threat to the overall project success. Low-impact risks are usually manageable with minimal adjustments and do not require major shift in resources or strategies. Medium impact. These risks have more notable effect on a project scope, timeline, or budget. While they may cause moderate delays or require the allocation of additional resources, they do not derail the project completely. Managing medium impact risk might involve revising the project schedule or increasing the budget slightly, but with this adjustment, the project goal can still be achieved. High impact. These are the most severe risks and pose significant threats to the project. High impact risk can result in substantial delays, significant budget overruns, or even project failure. When the risk occurs, they demand immediate and focused attention. The project team might need to make significant changes to the plan, or, in extreme cases, the project could be abandoned altogether. When we talk about risk management, one key element to consider is likelihood. Essentially, how probable is that a specific risk will occur? Understanding the likelihood of a various risk helps project manager prioritize which risks need the most attention and allocate resources appropriately. Risk can be categorized into three main levels based on their likelihood. Low. These risks are unlikely to occur, but they should still be noted and monitored. Although they don't require immediate or significant attention, it's important to have basic plans in place just in case. Medium. These risks have a moderate chance of happening. They need more focus than low likelihood risk and should have a clear strategy for response. The project team should be prepared to take action if signs of this risk begin to appear. High. These are risks that are very likely to occur during the project. They demand close monitoring and proactive planning to ensure that, if they happen, their impact is minimized as much as possible. High likelihood risk often receive the most resources and attention. Note that the overall risk level of a particular issue is determined by combining its likelihood and impact. This combination guides how project managers prioritize their risk response strategies and make decisions to ensure that the project stays on track. When assessing the likelihood of risk in a project, it's important to choose the right approach. Project managers can evaluate likelihood through two main methods: qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative methods rely on expert judgment or team discussion to gauge the probability of a risk occurring. Likelihood is rated using terms such as low, medium, or high. In some cases, a scale such 1 to 5. This approach is particularly effective when data is limited, and insights from team experience or industry experts are valuable for making informed estimates. Quantitative methods involve a more data-driven analysis, using statistical models or historical projects data to assign a numerical probability to each risk. For example, by examining data from past projects, a project manager might estimate the likelihood of technical failures occurring and express it as a percentage. Quantitative assessment provide precise and measurable probabilities, which can be useful for more detailed risk management plans. What to do with risk? The reality is that while we cannot eliminate all risks, we can take significant steps to minimize their adverse effects on a project, and that's what we call risk mitigation. Risk mitigation is about developing proactive actions to lessen both the likelihood and impact of potential risks. Here, we explore four common strategies used to handle risk effectively: avoidance, reduction, transference, and acceptance. Let's start with avoidance. This strategy involves altering the project plan to eliminate the risk entirely, steering clear of high-risk activities or conditions that could jeopardize the project. Imagine a scenario where a particular software tool needed for a project proves to be too unstable. To avoid the associated technical risk, you might opt to replace it with a more reliable tool, ensuring project continuity and stability. Risk reduction is about taking action that reduce either the likelihood of the risk occurring or the potential impact. While the risk isn't completely eliminated, the negative consequences are minimized, making them more manageable. Imagine you're running an online training program. To reduce the risk of instructors struggling with online teaching tools, you could provide them with complete training. By doing so, you minimize the likelihood of the performance issue during live session and reduce the impact if a technical issue arises. Risk transference involves shifting the responsibility of a risk to a third part, typically through contracts, insurance, or outsourcing. This strategy is often used for financial or legal risk, where another entity can assume the responsibility for potential issue. Let's say you're organizing an online training session and you are concerned about potential IT problems. Instead of managing the technical aspect yourself, you hire an external technical support team. By doing so, you transfer the risk of any technical failures from your team to the specialized provider. Risk acceptance is a strategy where you acknowledge the existence of a risk but decide to not take any proactive steps to prevent it. This strategy is typically used when the likelihood or impact of the risk is low, or when the cost or effort required to mitigate the risk will be disproportionately high compared to the potential consequences. Let's now see some practical steps you can take to mitigate the risk. Not all risks are equal, so it's crucial to prioritize them based on their potential impact and likelihood. High impact, high likelihood risk should be your first concern. These are the risks that could seriously disrupt your project and need immediate attention. On the other hand, risks that are low in both likelihood and impact can be moderate but do not require the same level of focus of resources. Prioritizing allows you to allocate your time and efforts efficiently to mitigate the most significant risk first, reducing the chances of major issues later on. How can we do that? Of course, with a plan. For each identified risk, a risk response plan should be developed that includes owner, who will be the responsible for executing the mitigation action. Assigning ownership ensures accountability and ensures that the response plan is carried out effectively. Resources. What resources, time, budget, personnel, materials will be needed to mitigate the risk? Ensure that the resources are allocated and available before the risk occurs to avoid delays. Time frame. When will the mitigation action be completed? Setting clear deadlines for each action ensure that the response plan is timely and that any delays or the issue can be addressed immediately. And of course, the mitigate action you will develop. As usual, now it's your turn. I hope that you kept the project idea you developed in Learning Unit 1 because you will need it. You can find the template risk template within Documents and Allowance section on the platform. Download it and complete the table by identifying the risks, the possibility of their occurrence, low, medium, high, the impact on your project, low, medium, high, and finally the mitigation strategy. Set a timer of 30 minutes to complete the task. You can pause the lesson and resume it when you're done. When you complete the task, upload it into the forum with the title Learning Unit 2 Exercise Risks. In this slide, you can see the table that you have to fill out. It is pretty simple but useful. Insert the risk, for example, delay on starting date on the project, the impact of that risk, the likelihood, and finally, a proposal to mitigate the impact of the risk. Problem solving is an essential skill in project management. It involves identifying challenges, obstacles, or difficulties that arise during the execution of a project and then developing effective strategies to overcome them. While problem solving is especially critical within project, it is not confined to just project management. It is a transversal skill, meaning it is applicable across various industries, roles, and even in our daily lives. As a transversal skill, Problem solving empowers individuals to approach any issue, whether it's technical, organizational, or interpersonal, with a structured analytical mindset. This approach involves the capacity to think critically, meaning understanding the problem in detail, questioning assumptions, and evaluating all available options. Analyze data, gathering relevant information and looking at patterns or trends that may help identify the root cause of the issue. Anticipate potential challenges, thinking ahead and preparing for potential issues that could arise during the course of a project or task. And develop innovative solutions, coming up with creative, feasible solutions that resolve the problem while maintaining project goals and resources. Okay, clear. But how to train one's problem-solving skills? Are there methods that can be applied? With time, the critical approach and problem-solving will become methodologies that you will apply instinctively. But in some cases, it may be useful to employ techniques to arrive to a solution. Let me introduce you to the six thinking hat technique. The six thinking hats is a structured problem-solving technique developed by Edward de Bono. It encourages parallel thinking, allowing individuals or groups to approach a problem or situation from multiple perspectives in a systematic way. These methods help to organize thinking, facilitate discussion, and ultimately aids in reaching consensus more effectively. Each hat represents a different mode of thinking, and participants wear a specific hat to focus on that style of thought. By switching between hats, people can explore all aspects of a problem without bias or confusion. The white hat is all about focusing on facts, data, and information. When wearing the white hat, participants are encouraged to be objective and analytical, looking at the solution purely from a fact-based perspective. The primary goal is to gather relevant, verifiable information, identify knowledge gaps, and ensure decisions are based on accurate and reliable data. Quick question to consider when using the white hat. What information do we have? What do we need to know? What are the available statistics or reports? Are there any trends or patterns in the data? The red hat focuses on feelings, emotion, and intuition. When using the red hat, participants are encouraged to express their emotional reaction and gut feelings about the issue or situation without needing to prove logical reasoning or justification. This allows the group to tap into their emotional instincts, when can offer important perspective and context that might be immediately apparent for a purely logical analysis. Key questions to consider are: what is my gut feeling about this? How do I feel about the potential solutions? What emotion might affect the decision-making process? The black hat represents caution, critical thinking, and identifying risks. When using the hat, participants focus on the potential negative aspect of a decision, idea, or solution. It's a time to think critically about what could go wrong, identify potential obstacles, and consider the risks that could undermine the project or decision. The black hat is essential for avoiding overly optimistic thinking by helping the group stay aware of challenges and issues that may arise. It encourages a more thorough and cautious evaluation before moving forward. You can ask yourself, what could go wrong? What are the potential drawbacks? What risk should be aware of? Now that we have vented all negative thoughts, it's time to give space to positive ones. The yellow hat represents optimism and the identification of positive aspects in a decision or solution. When using this hat, participants focus on the potential benefits, opportunities, and positive outcomes that could arise. It encourages a constructive and hopeful mindset, highlighting the value of a solution and its potential for success. The yellow hat is essential for fostering innovation and positive thinking, helping to uncover the ways a project or a decision could bring about desirable results, even in the face of challenges identified by the black hat. Some questions that can help you are: what are the potential benefits? How could this solution improve the situation? What opportunities could arise? The green hat is all about creativity, innovation, and thinking outside the box. When using the green hat, participants are encouraged to explore new and unconventional ideas, propose alternative solutions, and think about the problem from entirely new perspectives. This hat promotes divergent thinking, where no idea is too wild and there is no possibility of off limits. The goal is to generate as many ideas as possible without immediately judging their feasibility or practicability. At this stage, it's about embracing creative thinking and allowing for brainstorming and spontaneous ideas that could spark innovative solutions. What new ideas can we come up with? Are there unconventional approaches we could try? How can we improve upon existing solutions? The blue hat might seem like the boring hat, but trust us, it's actually the unsung hero of the entire process. It's all about making sure that everything flows smoothly, keeping the discussion on track, and guiding everyone to a conclusion. Without the blue hat, we'd be all over the place, like a car with no steering wheel. The blue hat is the facilitator of the group, the one who ensures that the conversation stays focused and productive. Think of it as a conductor of an orchestra, making sure that every section plays their part at the right time. It doesn't generate ideas, but it sets the stage for everyone else to shine. Key questions for the blue hat to ask are: what's our goal here? What's the next step? What we have to achieve? In conclusion, the six thinking hats technique is a fun and lively way to approach problem solving, encouraging everyone to think from different angles. Each hat brings something unique to the table. By using all six hats, teams can tackle challenges with a fresh, well-rounded perspective, ensuring the best solution come to light. I will propose you another technique you can use with your team. When you have to find a solution, time is running out, and you are feeling that your team is scrambling, it's time to make things funny. The Lightning Decision Jam (LDJ) is a fast-paced, fun, and collaborative approach to decision making that helps teams move from confusion to clarity in no time. Rather than letting stress and tension build up, this technique encourages participants to focus on solutions in a supportive, time-limited environment. By using structured activities like silent brainstorming, prioritization, and group discussion, the LDJ empowers everyone to contribute their ideas while ensuring the team stay focused and aligned. It's a great way to turn problem solving into a team building opportunity and end up with clear, actionable decisions in all a fraction of time it would be normally take. First, let's start with the identification of the problem. Participant starts by reflecting on the main topic, for example, improving project team communication. Each person then writes down specific challenges or problems they've observed on stick notes. You have 5 to 10 minutes to jot down as many issues as you can think of. Once the time is up, everyone shares their notes with the group and place them on a wall or board, allowing the team to visualize and see all the challenges in one place. In this phase, the team takes a moment to review all the sticky notes. Together, you'll group similar problems or challenges into categories. This helps you identify common themes and ensure that the discussions stay focused. By clustering related issues, the team can zoom in on key areas that need attention, making it easier to prioritize and tackle them effectively. It's like organizing the puzzle pieces before you start putting them together. Much clearer and more efficient. It's time to vote. Each participant gets 3 votes to prioritize the problem they are feeling the most critical or need immediate action. This is an important step because it helps the team quickly identify which issue to focus on first. Voting is typically done using stickers or marks on the sticky notes, and it ensures that everyone's voice is heard while guiding the group towards the most urgent challenges. Now that we agree on the main problems, it's time to find solutions. This is a creative phase where everyone is encouraged to think outside the box and propose ideas, no matter how big or small. After brainstorming, the group then use another round of voting to prioritize the most promising and actionable solutions. You should now have the top voted solutions onto your table. It's time to develop a plan. The team take the top voted solutions and break them into clear, actionable steps. This is where the magic happens, as the team identifies who will be the responsible for each task and sets deadlines for completion. It's important to make the action plan specific, realistic, and measurable to ensure successful implementation. Once everyone is aligned on the roles and the timeline, the plan is documented for future reference, creating a roadmap for moving forward and ensuring accountability. Now that you are a problem-solving master, you also have to deal with another transversal skill: decision making. Decision making involves evaluating different options, weighing the pros and cons, and selecting the best course of action in any situation. In project management, decision making is crucial because it helps guide teams through complex challenges and uncertainties. It requires not only analytical thinking to assess all available data, but also emotional intelligence to understand the impact of decision on the team and stakeholders. Strong communication is also vital, as effective decision making often involves gathering input from various perspectives to ensure all relevant factors are considered before moving forward. There are 2 types of decision making processes. Program decisions are routine choices that follow established guidelines, rules, or procedures. These decisions are often straightforward and can typically be automated or delegated to lower levels of management. They are used for situations that are repetitive and predictable, where the decision-making process is standardized. For example, a project manager may rely on programmed decisions when allocating resources, using predetermined criteria such as budget limits or project timelines. These standardized approaches streamline operation and ensure efficiency, as they eliminate the need for extensive analysis or subjective judgment each time a similar situation arises. Program decisions help maintain consistency and speed in project management. So far, so simple. But what if there are no written rules or convention to follow? Non-programmed decisions occur in unique or complex situations that lack a clear precedent or established procedure. These decisions require critical thinking, creativity, and problem-solving abilities to navigate through uncertainties and address unexpected challenges. Unlike program decisions, which follow standard procedures, non-program decisions demand a more flexible and adaptive approach. For example, if a project faces an unforeseen technical issue that threatens to delay the timeline, the project manager must assess the problem, explore various alternatives, and make informed decisions on how to move forward. These decisions often carry higher stakes and greater risk, as they involve analyzing multiple factors and potential outcomes, relying heavily on the judgment and expertise of individuals or teams. So, what to do? There is no recipe for making unplanned decisions that are the right and effective ones, in the workplace as in life. Obviously, it depends on the situation, the resources you have at your disposal, and each case is different. What I can provide you with are some tips to make the decision-making process easier. First, involve stakeholders. Always remember that the solution you choose will impact your stakeholders. Engage them early on to gather a variety of perspectives and information, ensuring that the decisions are well informed and aligned with the needs of those involved. Be mindful of bias. Cognitive biases can skew decision making. To avoid this, actively seek out diverse viewpoints and challenge your assumptions. This helps create a more balanced perspective and ensure decisions are based on objective analysis. Consider short-term and long-term effect. Every decision has implications not only for the immediate project but also for future goals. Weigh the short-term benefits against long-term sustainability to ensure decisions contribute positively both now and in the future. Striking the right balance is key to achieving lasting successes. Making decisions may seem like a tough challenge at times, but with the right mindset and strategies, it can actually be an exciting opportunity for growth and creativity. Remember, every choice is a chance to learn, adapt, and move your project closer to success. So, embrace the decision making process. It's not just about the destination, but about how you grow and innovate all along the way. And that's all for today's class. Thank you for your engagement and participation in this unit. If you have any questions or doubts about it, you can use the forum to discuss with me or your colleagues. See you in the next unit.